He was the hero with all the gold. This time, Call Me had a breakout performance in the mid lane, showing the Aurora and what that's able to do. Meanwhile, Darkwings, I mean, we went into game thinking, yeah, they had a lot of mid lane bans. The Azir was already picked. What else does Darkwings have? And the Cassiopeia did not impress. So I think some more eyes will now be on Darkwings to see what else is he capable of and what other champions. Because we know he's good on the Azir. Now, what else is he able to play? I don't think Teemo, sorry to the honest man, but that is a great drawing, though. Incredible.
Absolutely incredible drawing, especially if they did that today after they got here. I will say, I think that Sentinels will just pick Darkwing's champion earlier this game because the Victor and the Syndra bans didn't come through until the 4-5. So I think just making sure that he gets, preferably even just Victor in this draft, would give them a nice scaling option later in the game.
And only Orianna's been banned. They banned the Rise on their side. But we see here that the mid lane pool is much bigger. Be the bird. I don't get that reference.
Maybe.
Is that Anivia?
Sure. Why not?
Yes, Anivia. Okay, cool.
That's another Darkwings champion.
That is?
So you never know.
Be the bird. Yeah, live up to the name. The wings. Bring them all out. Can we get a third bird champion for Darkwings now? For the best of fives, of course.
Who are all the bird champions?
Well, no, I'm saying design team. We need to, I think, make a new one. Oh, wait, we are here, yeah. So Zaya, Rakan. There's a couple. Yeah.
Do you consider Azir a bird?
Yes.
Okay. So that's already enough bird champions.
There we go.
Okay.
We fixed it.
Okay,
they haven't logged in a mid laner form yet, though. It was J4 first pick. Sion and Xinjia are the answers for DSG.
Wow, taking the Sion away from Impact. Also, I'm a little shocked that Jarvan is up this late in the series. He's such high prio. Super early in the series that I've been watching. So Hambach going to have a good performance. He's really underwhelmed expectations aside from his first gank on Kiana. That was great. Since then, could see better.
And we got the Aphelios to pair behind the J4. Also, shout out, we have a resident fan, LCS super fan, who always brings the J4 sign with him. His license plate has the #1 most steals across the world, or maybe top 3, I don't remember, in the world. He's saying #1. He's saying number one. One day we'll interview him. We'll hear his story live. But for now, I'm just going to tell people that we got a really cool fan that always comes.
Jarvan the 4th license plate to watch Jarvan the 4th. And as expected, Victor just picked for Darkwings. So
you called it.
I think it's comfort choices across the board here. They blind picked the Aphelios for Rahel. I mentioned last year his Aphelios Jinx were the things that he found the most success on, even if they weren't super meta. So Sentinels is going late game here with those first 3 picks.
Meanwhile, Call Me, we saw what the Aurora could do. Akali, similar kind of high execution threshold mid laner. You can find really, really big highlight plays. And potentially was just warming up to get to this point here into the Victor low mobility mage that, yes, can get some shielding, can slow you down a little bit, but Akali, if you're able to outplay, can still give Victor a lot of problems. Now it's about the bot lane, DSG banning away things like the Lulu, the Thresh. Interesting to see the Thresh pop up here.
Yeah, it's because it's a great pair with Aphelios. So gives him a little bit of extra mobility, and then Aphelios Thresh is a very strong 2v2 lane. So they're just trying to eliminate the best 2 enchanters with the Aphelios so far.
We actually saw a double pentakill Aphelios earlier today. Now that I remember, I think that was with the Thresh support. Shout out LEC. They had a double pentakill going.
It takes a special type of skill to run into Aphelios twice in a row to get pentakilled.
200 years times 2, 400 years. 400 years were experienced in that moment. Bard, though, has been left up, and that is locked in for Lions.
Yeah, and I love Bard against Victor Aphelios, especially with Thresh banned. So Lions could land some huge Bard ultimates, and it's going to be just really difficult for the Victor and Aphelios to deal with that throughout the game.
But if you get enough lockdown, Bard sometimes can be a little squishier. Nautilus can be a tough matchup for him. Rel also will provide more primary engage, because currently it's just that J4 as the big engage tool. They will pair that with the Rel now. Less defensive tool for Aphelios. You can still, help peel for Aphelios in bad situations, but in general, I see Rel more so as like, let's go in, let's start this
for
fight.
Sure. It's absolutely a hard engage champion. So the peel isn't necessarily there for Rahel. I do really like what DSG has done in their 4-5 bans in both games. I think they got huge value pushing Darkwings to Cassiopeia in game 1. Impact pulling out the pocket Mordekaiser.
Which version of Impact? Which version of Impact are we going to get, Jet?
Yeah, Impact Mordekaiser versus Sion What's interesting here is, at least historically, little known fact about Impact, he really cared about the opponent's support champion when he'd pick Mordekaiser as well. He loved it into Nautilus specifically, because it would just eliminate his ability to engage, because you just eat the Nautilus right away and then solo him as Mordekaiser. I don't really feel like there's a champ in this game that he'll be able to ult and easily kill. So it's not as nice of an angle as he usually finds, but I think he just wants it into the Scion.
I guess maybe you could say the Akali, but that's assuming she doesn't have the smoke screen up. So that would be a great tool to kind of buy time in that ult. But we'll see how Impact wants to pilot that one. It could just be about that 1v1. I'm looking at the rest of the map thinking they have great engage, but low mobility, AD carry and low mobility mid lane. Bard loves to find these low mobility champions to snipe with long range ults, follow up with, the magical journeys and the cosmic bindings. And you have an Akali following you up on that with a Sivir speed boost. So I'm really liking blue side draft so far here. I think red side's going to come down much more to execution as the coaches give one final fist bump of the day. Win or lose, somebody's got to take it. Disguised Sentinels tied 1-1 in their debuts for LCS in 2026.
I understand now that you're saying you like blue side draft is in the team that is playing blue side.
Yes.
But it's so hard for me to disconnect my brain from the team that had first pick. So that's just going to take a lot of getting used to, this first selection.
I'm happy with us, though. Neither of us made any mistakes with that in the first two games, and I'm going to say that we didn't make a mistake there either. So, pat ourselves on the back here. A win means the series goes your way to start off LCS. Sentinels versus DSG on the Rift for Game 3.
Quick rush for brush control in the bottom lane. Another early ward by DSG up towards where Hambach is going to be starting. They want early scouting on the Jarvan to try and make it so he doesn't get any cheesy ganks off. And I mean, let's look at what Sentinels is supposed to do in this game. They need to scale with the Aphelios and the Victor, but I think more importantly, they need to win some lanes early on so that they don't fall far behind. I mean, DSG has kind of ran the early game in both the first and the second game, so I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more aggression out of Rahel Huhi with this Aphelios and Rel.
Yeah, last game they were able to get the CS advantage on Lucian, but the dives didn't really work out for them, so we'll see if this time around they can actually execute a bunch of kills down there. But the early game, it's about even in terms of health bar trades. There was something really cool. As a support man, I love watching just pros like Huhi play laning phase, using the Rel W to get that shield to walk in, push Lions out of that brush. And now he's using it to great effect just to keep that shield up anytime he's getting traded on.
Yeah, and Sentinels, a little bit of quick history as there's a fight.
They hit level 2 early, flash forward onto Lions, not going to find the kill.
They got the heal out of Lions for sure, but as you can see, Sentinels, crazy that they were originally Phoenix 1 for those that were watching that long ago.
Shout out Mike Young.
Yeah, longest absence from the league before returning. That's 8 years, 5 months.
I don't even know which
interesting record.
That's a great stat.
Just wait for Velocity to come back and shatter it.
Oh, yeah.
13.5-year hiatus.
What about Coast? Team Coast back in here.
It'll also be a long one.
But yeah, shout out Sentinels. We're Phoenix 1. Again, they've been fantastic so far. Great content. And they are co-streaming as well. If you didn't hear earlier, the CEO with Double Lift and Tarek are actually watching along with us. So they watched 1 game win, 1 game loss. Maybe they can cheer on the team to a victory here today. As the early reset came in from Rahel and Huhi, getting that coal for the Aphelios.
Yeah, pretty important to win any of these games in Swiss. The way this format works is it's just a best of 3 Swiss that started with a random draw. So the winner of this series win counts for exactly as much as the winner of the C9 TL series.
Yeah.
They're both just going to be the 1-0 teams, so they'll go to the upper bracket essentially versus the lower bracket.
No way to tell which team's better between C9 or the winner of this.
Everyone started from the same seed.
Yeah,
they just both be 1-0.
It's going to be incredible. As yeah, low action early game here, despite the fact that we have the J4 and the Xin Zhao. Both of these junglers I'm known to see have action in the early game. Go for these early ganks. As the Xin Zhao, oh, actually, Lions does spot out Hambach right there. And we have a flank from Kizno. He's coming all the way around. Hambach will commit to the engage onto Lions, who is flashless, healless, rooted in place. Rahel does not quite have the damage. Kizno still hanging out on the side right now, looking for the flank onto Rahel. Huhi and Hambach are split off. The wave is pushing them away, so Rahel is left out to dry. Gift the kill to Sajed. First blood to DSG.
And that could not have gone any better for DSG. the struggle continues for Hambach in these early games. I feel like similar to game 2, highly telegraphed ganks. He's just sitting around, he's warded, he gets spotted out by the Bard, and then they still go for it. So it just gives so much time for Kisno to move around, and then when the gank doesn't work, it just means that Sentinels is so overextended, and then great discipline as well to save the kill for the Sivir.
Yep, I understand the idea. They got Lion so low, he's out of summoner spells, but execution just wasn't there, and Kisno was prepared for it, had the flank angle, and now Sajed with the BF sword first back. We saw Rahel go for the early back with the call. I'd say there's a slight stats differential in the AD carry department right now.
Yeah, they might be able to get some push now with the Sivir, but it's an interesting juxtaposition because Rahel hadn't really been going call. Sajed has been going call in the first 2 games. Sivir, a great call champion. At the same time, he's probably gonna get like 400 CS this game, so he could still buy it later. And the BF sword is gonna give him a lot of early power here with Sivir.
But top lane is actually going fairly well for Impact. He's getting the shove onto Castle, getting that wave under turret repeatedly here because of how much action the junglers have put towards the bottom side. And this is a pick that expecting to win this lane, as only about evened it out though, as they both will go for their first resets and TP. Mid lane as well, about even. It's all about that bottom side currently, where there's the slight advantage for the side of DSG. Dragon's up as well, and Sivir notorious for having wave clear, wave push. I wouldn't necessarily say the same for Akali though, so I'm curious which jungler is going to feel more confident to go for that dragon based on the wave positions.
Yeah, I mean, once Akali's 6, as long as Akali can get there before the dragon's dead, can still have a large impact on that fight. And they are just fighting so much around this bottom lane. I think it's, I mean, this is just the biggest surprise of this DSG series for me is Sajed and Lions have been the same or bested Rahel and Huhi, which a complete rookie. Lions did not have high stock after his poor season with Lion. A lot of people were like, why would they pick up Lions? But
right.
He's very experienced. He's working very well with this rookie. And the whole game is being played through this bottom lane now, especially now that Sivir's 1-0. So much of the win condition of Sentinels is actually on Aphelios, so trying to keep Rahel out of the game.
And they still have Kisno down here. They saw that the J4 left, so when it becomes lightning, will miss. Kisno cannot commit to the play. Rahel actually kind of tough to gank. The move speed buff can make it tricky to land those skill shots, but now Hambach sees a top lane that's under half health. Not going to commit to it, though. Impact had used the Shadow Realm earlier, so Castle, that's where a lot of his health bar went, and he will just wisely back off.
Yep, looking for some fruit in the river. Going to be able to gobble that up as Kisno freely takes this Drake through mid and bot control. I'm a little impressed here by Calmy's ability to have the shove on the Victor. I think part of that is just because there was so much river control, and Darkwings probably had to respect the gank of Kisno's Xinjiao, but this is, I mean, it's a pleasant surprise that DSG is competitive. I was really worried. I need to be just completely honest. I was really worried after how the beginning of last year went for DSG. It took them half a year to kind of find a formula that worked with Darkwings and Rahel. Then they lost them right away. I was like, oh man, is it just going to be this like, oh, it's another DSG game, let's watch them get slammed? Clearly not. Like, Sajed has been great. Kisno's also really good.
For an emergency sub, we need to keep hammering that home. It was meant to be Kryra. Visa issues mean that Kryra can't compete yet. We're hoping that he's able to make it in soon. But, I mean, this is a great substitute to start off. I think Kisno was a little slow in game number 1, if we're being honest, on Pantheon, but since then has really picked it up.
Yeah, but just from like an entertainment standpoint, if your worst team in the league is giving you matchups like this, you're going to have a lot of really entertaining games.
True.
So I'm just personally very excited that we have not only a cool best-of-3 format, but also competitive teams.
I did also note that you took the Sentinels jersey off. The camera hasn't come back to us, but he's not currently wearing it. So does that have anything to do with last game?
I took it off after game 1. Mr. Kangas.
You did.
Thanks
you knew.
for calling me out, though. It was a bit.
It's okay. The cardigan looks great.
It's the Darkwings jersey. I'll bring it back if he's able to win this game.
I mean, talking about Darkwings here, still losing the solo lane matchup versus Calmy just in the CS department. And he also was struggling in that last game as well. The Azir was fantastic. Now he could be in some trouble here. Calmy gets a big burst of damage as Arcane Storm will go out. Darkwings, though, links up with the jungler, so Calmy will back off.
Yeah, looks like the Grubs will still be going over to J4. I've heard very mixed opinions on if Grubs is low-key broken or if it's completely useless.
Wow, those are two very different
It really
opinions.
just depends on the game. It depends on if you're able to get a lot of turret hits off or if you can randomly block skill shots with it.
Okay, fair enough.
In this game, I actually feel like they're relatively useless against the Sivir, just because the Sivir is going to be able to withstand any super push that you have later in the game anyway, but it's still decent experience for Hambach.
You also don't have like a solo laner that's really going to be pushing hard, as Impact again uses the Mordekaiser ultimate onto Castle, dodging out on the Decimating Smash, and Castle's in some trouble here. Has the flash available. Wait for that shield cooldown, pulled back in, and he is alive. Did not have to use a summoner spell.
Just keep clicking away with the Doran shield, with Second Wind, with Spectre's Cow.
Yep.
Damage doesn't come out fast enough yet for Mordekaiser, but you can still see Impact pretty comfortable in this matchup. It's not like Castle's necessarily losing it, though, since top lane doesn't do anything but stay in lane. The only things that matter are turret plates, kills, and CS. And currently, Castle has actually not lost many plates. Looks like he's just down one plate.
Yep.
And is actually up in CS.
Oh, but he missed the cannon right as you said it.
Minus 0.5. They're not as valuable as they were last season.
Oh, true.
So
yes,
still,
Twitch chat, it's not -1. Get with the meta.
It's still minus
0.5.
1.
But he will get a push in here as Impact will walk up rather than TPing. So that will be TP advantage now.
He's going to get a plate too. So he's back even.
There we go. The little mini demolish that everybody gets with those crystals now. As gold in the favor of DSG. The one grub picked up by Sentinels, but answered for that dragon here. Next dragon in a minute and a half. DSG were able to get control over bot lane and mid lane for that dragon because of Calmy's laning prowess. And now he's 18 CS up over Darkwings. Doesn't look like that's slowing down anytime soon.
And I think the name of the game for DSG is just keep controlling dragons. They have Sion scaling in the top lane, who's going to be a strong tank for most of this game. Sivir can keep just shoving lanes in. You can see completed his first major item as well, far ahead of where Rahel's Aphelios is going to be doing it. And then they just move around with Bard Xin, who are both pretty strong in the river. So no need to rush this. DSG in a good position.
So I want to have kind of a wider conversation, because it seems like we have some time before the dragon, about some of the mid laners coming in. Call me, I'm getting almost hints of like how Saint started off last year, where he was a great individual performer and was getting big leads. I know it's only one series sample size, so maybe too early to call that, but so far, you never really know how Korean players coming into the NA ecosystem are going to perform, but so far, very impressed with how Calmy has looked.
Yeah, he's looking solid, especially because this team has been on such limited practice.
Yeah. Oh, nice little binding there from Lions onto Hambach. Some all in from Kisno. Get a teleport out from top lane. The advantage of TP means that we're going to have more members from Sentinels. The Bard ult will delay, but not save Kisno's life. And he cannot equalize onto Hambach. Rahel gifted the kill.
Yeah, also a teleport advantage there by Impact's Mordekaiser, so he comes in and makes a big difference, whereas Sion can't join. But they're pretty low, so I don't think Sentinels can just straight up win this dragon fight easily. Sion is on the way.
Sajed also has a completed item, so he's feeling confident to walk up. Has ultimate, has Ghost available. In comes the Sion that's flashed out of Hambach as Rahel's getting chunked out. Pops Ghost himself. Sajed not committing any summoner spells, will only use the ultimate. Pop the Happy Bee, say, get out of here. That dragon's going to be ours later. Kisno's back on the map and running straight there.
Yeah, big tempo win actually by DSG, even though they lose the fight initially. Look at this. They're going to be able to get an extra wave bottom. Rahel's going to be really sad as an AD carry. Watching this happen is always infuriating, and they get yet another plate.
Sajed the first one to complete the quest as well, so having a really, really good start here. Rahel had an early CS advantage, but that's gone. Now it's 20 in the lead for Sajed, plus that kill. As Calmy will confidently walk up and take that plate.
Yep, using all his cooldowns, but nice little trick there on Akali, throwing your shuriken into your shroud and then flying back to it after taking the plate. So opening up a bit more of a lead, 1,500.
Darkwings does have the upgraded laser though, so that will vastly improve Victor's shoving ability. It's going to be much harder for Calmy to actually get that mid lane push anymore on the Akali. You still have your 5-point strike, which will help, but it will be answered. So it's not going to be as free of a push for this dragon, as DSG did not immediately pull the trigger on it. And now top lane, Castle again in the Shadow Realm. Impact is just using this almost on cooldown here. More damage, and now Hambach as well. Impact picking up the kill on Castle.
Yeah, nice job there. Doesn't matter if you're walking over vision, if you're stuck inside a Mordekaiser ultimate the entire time. See if Impact can start snowballing a bit of a lead here. He was getting close to killing the Sion before. should be able to finish his Leandries shortly. Gonna definitely get a couple plates here after getting that kill.
But even though Hambach showed topside, Kizno was not close enough to Dragon to just immediately run there. So the immediate thought would be, oh, Sentinels, yeah, they get a kill, but they're punished because they give up another Dragon. They have a chance to contest this if they want to.
Yeah, we'll see here. I think Rahel got pushed back yet again, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, has to respect a possible dive since they don't have vision on Drake. If he stayed, there's a chance that Xin would have just dove him. So I mean, loses the game of chicken there by recalling since Kizno was on Drake.
And if you don't have Huhi with you, even the 2v1 dive with Bard ulting the turret, they can kill you so fast. So DSG will get the Dragon. Kizno has to
eventually
show back. He was at 1 health. I think he thought the pet would do it as he also smites away the blue buff. But now Huhi roams all the way topside. Castle is the focus. He has the ultimate, goes unstoppable. CC immune and gets to safety.
Cowards! Shouts as he flies away. Rahel gonna hope to get a few plates here, but I think the swap is going to follow them. Try to do a cheeky little swap there to get possibly some mid plates. Interesting to see if they stay up there, because you'd want them to be in mid lane soon, but I think they're going to keep Rahel up there against the Scion for at least another wave.
I mean, the top lane is down to 3 plates remaining. It's enough chunk that maybe they feel if they commit people there, they can try and capitalize on Castle, who also built magic resist, so the AD coming in from Rahel with an item and half completed will be felt much more.
It really feels more and more like this game's going to be coming down to the late game team fights. And how well can Sajed position on this Sivir versus how safe can Rahel and Darkwings be on their like double hyper carries. So it's a lot of it's on like Call Me and Lions for like flanking and threatening the Victor Aphelios and how well they can do that, because we know the Sivir is going to be scaling well.
And Sivir also with the Ghost and Flash plus the ultimate, such high mobility for a champion that otherwise doesn't have like a dash or anything. Can be pretty hard to get on top of. Let alone the spell shield. As DSG now start up this Herald, they have Sajed walking up from the mid lane. So Sentinels have a couple members here, but they're not immediately pulling the trigger. Now Rahel's coming down red and white on the Aphelios. He's ready with the Moonlight Vigil as well. Teleport's coming in. Now Kizno trying to keep Hambach away. Ults and will smite the objective, but now it's all focused onto Rahel. The Aphelios, what a Bard ult from Lions onto everybody. Sets up Call Me to go for the dive. He has to flash away into the smoke screen. Darkwings not able to get the damage out of the fight, but he might just kill Call Me. No, the Shuriken flipped us safety. Double kill to Call Me. DSG will get the objective, and they'll get out with a trade of kills, 2 for 2.
It's crazy that that fight was actually 2 for 2. It looks so bad for DSG at the very start because Kizno basically used all his cooldowns just to get the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
And then when a 5v5 fight breaks out, it's usually the team that didn't invest in going for the steal. But Lions' Bard ultimate disabling them for so long.
Oh, and Call Me was waiting in the brush, and he capitalizes on Darkwings unawares. Solo kill for Call Me.
That's just a guessing game right there. Call Me left that fight with almost no health but a red buff, looped around, had a bit of regen, and then goes for it. But watching this fight one more time, yes, you do get the smite steal, but then, like, look at this. It looked like Aphelios and Mordekaiser were going to clean up the fight until they get heavily delayed. And Call Me can't really get that much done when he flies in here, narrowly finishing off Hambach. But then, like, look at that. They think Call Me's out. They think he's completely out of the fight. He's at 50 health. Super smart of him to stick around, use the red buff regen, and get that next kill.
Darkwings did not expect that one coming here. As it seems like also Impact tracking that fight, the reason that he wasn't hit by the Bard ult is he pulled Castle into the Death Realm. So that seems to be the name of the game of the team fights, is just get the front line out of there.
Right.
But then you also aren't doing any damage or threatening the back line at all. So yeah, just a tough position for Sentinels in that moment. Great execution from DSG. And now Call Me 3-0-0. Plus a 22 CS lead over Darkwings. He's off to the races.
And waves pushed galore, but Call Me, after winning player of the game on Aurora, now has the goal to kind of carry this game because the front line is there for Sentinels, but they're 2 low mobility carries, 2 flashless low mobility carries, so if Akali gets the right flank, he can eliminate them from fights. It wouldn't matter how much damage they're doing.
As DSG try and push this wave in to get more plates on the mid lane. Dragon's up in a minute, and so is Baron in a minute and a half. It seems like DSG will be able to use this gold lead to just keep pushing for these objective stacks. Sentinels will have to find a really creative avenue in. They have the kind of front-to-back engage tools with the Rel and the J4, but as we highlighted in Pick and Ban, your backline has to worry about a Bard ulting them and a Kali flying in, and even your front line's engaging into a Sivir who can kite back and just shred through you. I'm really favoring DSG's position right now. It's going to be very hard for Sentinels to get back into this game.
I mean, 2 Drakes, 2,000 gold. You're getting kind of close to when objective bounties are going to turn on. Like, they do have a legitimate lead in this game, but game 1, they had a very large lead as well. Were unable to convert. Game 2, they did a lot better. So I still feel like this is winnable for both sides. I think it's really about just playing the Dragon game right here. How are they going to set up, retake, and try and get this 3rd Drake?
Also like to highlight anytime new items come in is, the back will finish. Lions on the Bard going for the Bandle Pipes, even with the extra gold added to the purchase.
Is so good.
Love this item on Bard. You drop 1 W on a teammate. Drop 1 Q on an enemy. Your autos also are able to slow once you get enough chimes picked up. So those meeps will just slow on auto, and then you get faster auto attack speed. Really, really good item.
Bandle Pipes was nerfed in this patch that we're playing on compared to where the other regions are playing. So it's a 300 gold more expensive, but I still feel like the aura value is so incredible. They might just be taking gold here and giving up this Drake.
Interesting. Oh, no, they TP in.
Drake's
it's going to be a
gone,
late Drake contest. Drake is secured for Sentinels. This Call Me an Impact. Now 1v1ing the Bard ult will land as Castle's trying to follow up. Lions takes a big chunk. Rahel in some trouble as Kizno diving deep with his top laner. Rahel does die. Impact does not win the 1v1 in the Death Realm. A double kill to Sajed as DSG will win the team fight. Still Dragon picked up by Sentinels. They're able to get 3 members out of there. DSG a 2 for 0.
Yeah, I mean, you could think the plan there for Sentinels was get the Drake, Mordekaiser will ult the Akali, and then maybe they'd be able to win the fight, but they just couldn't escape after that Bard ultimate sectioned them off, and then Kizno flew in with his Zen ult as well. So really opens this game up now. 5,000 gold after a sweeping teamfight win. They push all the waves afterwards. They have total vision, and they didn't get the Drake, but I think they get a bigger lead after that one.
It does slow the Dragon stacking for DSG, but they got a lot of gold for that one as, again, Lions, man, on the Bard is finding really good ults.
But look at Rahel, he's just in no man's land. This is what happens when you force a Drake without having waves pushed as well. You don't have a good retreat path, so they just completely annihilate him. More gold goes over to Sivir, and, I mean, he's got to feel great about this Bard angle. The carries can't dodge his ultimate. He's going to either get them killed or burn a flash every single time.
And we had talked about Lions earlier, saying it's kind of a tough position for a player like him to be in. I mean, he's on the team Lion, his favorite organization in LLA. He name changed to Lions because he wanted to play on that team. Then he gets dropped a year after they join North America, but this series so far, he has shown he is a very solid engaged support. He has found multiple angles to give DSG winning team fights.
Yeah, big shout out to DSG. Took them a while to win their first match last year.
Yeah.
If they win their first match here in 2026, it's going to be onwards and upwards for them. It's always so hard to judge based off the first game here because we are talking a lot about Kizno and him being emergency substitution, but even though Sentinels has everyone, they were delayed getting Hambach as well. So they haven't had their ideal amount of practice either, even if they are a more experienced team across the board. Definitely on the back foot, though. Not wanting to lose to DSG.
I will say some of the things that we've learned, though, because I had a lot of questions about Sentinels coming into this series. One thing we've learned is, I will say Impact looking better than he was last year. That was the biggest question mark, was which version of Impact would we get? I don't think this is MVP Impact, but it is solid Impact. He got a solo kill on Cassante and Renekton. He's got the lead right now in this top lane matchup. One of the other questions I had was, how is Darkwing's going to develop as a player? One crazy carry performance in game 1, rough performance on the Cassiopeia. This game still a lot to be determined, but about 50-50. Rahel's been the bigger surprise for me, though. He hasn't really been able to bring it together. He was the one that I was like, oh, that's the rock of the team. That's the one that will be able to perform.
That was my expectation, too, was that Rahel was going to be this like hyper carry for this team that's able to get a bunch of gold and then carry team fights. But he just hasn't been able to get leads.
Against the Jet, the rookie 80 carry coming in here. So I guess there's always two sides of the coin. Tough for Rahel not being able to find these leads so far, but great for Sajed on a debut performance as a rookie here in the LCS. As He gets chunked over the wall right there. DSG are fighting for buffs at this point. The next dragon's in a minute and a half. Baron is still on the table right now. So if they find a pick, they're on the Baron side. They could just look for it, or they can look to find Dark Wings. Swing and a miss from the Tempered Fate. Flash out of Dark Wings. That Summoner Spell down for the mid laner as Castle now slowed. The rest of Sentinels force flash out of the top laner. Castle trades Summoner Spells for Dark Wings, and no kills either way.
Yeah, definitely. You can see Sentinels is kind of hoping for any type of fight there, thinking that maybe Castle had overstepped, but all things considered, that's a win for DSG. Getting the flash out of Darkwing's Victor makes him a much more vulnerable target in the next fight. Call Me is definitely on a ward. Good chance he realizes it, I would think.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how Impact wants to play this, as he will pull him back in. Doesn't land the Q. Call Me getting big damage on the Impact. Yeah, he must not have, because now he is surrounded by 4 members of Sentinels. Will Perfect Execution flash away, but shut down regardless. Impact picks up the kill. Big mistake there. Bounty goes over to Impact. Drake up in 30 seconds as well, so Call Me will only be able to teleport in about 10 seconds after it spawns. Decent chance Sentinels can control this, but gotta be a little careful. Sivir's still 3 full items. I feel like DSG is going to look to contest this. They will have Bard ultimate soon. Can always look for the pick with that. 7 seconds until that is available. They're going to try and burst it for sure. Rahel doesn't have the best guns, but he's going to try and cycle the better teamfight guns on this Drake. And Call Me, even if he does TP in, won't have ult, won't have flash. So it's not even like that much advantage if they can stall this dragon. Maybe they find a pick, but it looks like engaged now from who? He has Sentinels want to be the ones to pull the trigger. Kisno force back Sajed, shredding through Impact's health bar as who he will die as well. The Bard ult onto Rahel. He's got a flash. The ult doesn't go off. Sajed is bombing off in the team fight. Massive damage from the Sivir. A triple kill to Kisno. What did they feed these rookies for breakfast? They stepped up huge. What a team fight there by DSG after a mistake from Call Me. They keep a calm head, they secure the Drake, and they're likely going to turn this into Baron as well. It's the rookies that make the difference. Look at Sajed holding his own on Impact. Dodges Q, spell shields the E, gets the kill. They get the Bard ultimate on Rahel. He immediately flashes, sidesteps, doesn't miss a beat, never cancels an auto, gets the reset on W, kills another one. He's not getting credit for the kills, but I feel like he carried that fight. Oh, incredible performance.
Yo, Sajed, you're on fire today.
Yeah, well played, bro.
Hold flash.
He's locked in.
That's the response?
Yeah, no acknowledgement, you're on fire. Of course I am.
Yeah, that was expected. I knew.
What a beast.
Again, I got to talk with some of the players before they took to the stage today, and vibes were good, but it was very much more like a, we're just going to kind of have fun with it. We don't have the full roster together. We're going to give it our best shot. It wasn't like a, we're going to smash!
Good night.
As Call Me's doing just that. Another solo kill on a Dark Wings.
That's what happens if Akali gets going in the side lane. You just wait in a bush for the other guy to show up, and then you one-shot him. So very nicely done by Call Me. And they kept the expectations low, and the feelings are so good when you are the underdog like this and you're this close to victory. So they are playing with style and confidence now.
And we saw Papa Smithy at Twitch chat say right there, baby Masu performing. A reminder, Sajed replaced Masu on FlyQuest Challengers. Masu was a huge call-up for the region. Sajed was the one that took his spot in Tier 2. And what a debut from this young AD carry. DSG will take the middle inhibitor. They're looking for the top turret next. And it doesn't look like they're slowing down with 3 cannon and power, or Baron powered cannons. They can just walk up. Impact will pull 2 of those under the turret, but the rest of Sentinels just can't quite stop the onslaught that is DSG. Castle will start taking the turret. Doesn't have the flash available. He's actually going to take a big chunk of damage right now, but the turret does go down. The Bard ultimate, it interrupts Hanban.
No flash.
No flash on the Xin Zhao. No chance of survival. Call Me with his 5th kill of the game, and DSG with 5 members strong. Baron on 2 waves. They're going to look to end it right here, right now. Back from Castle, he can TP to the wave and help with the push, and they're going to do just that. Supers are now coming in the mid lane. Sentinels have to defend 4v5.
It's going to be real tough for them to do that. Castle taking down this first one. You always have to watch out about a call on the flank too.
Impact has the ultimate available. He's trying to 1v1 Call Me right now. The first Nexus turret will fall. Kisno goes back in onto Impact. He's just getting chunked down. Will pull Kisno into the ult and get the GA. but that's only an item cooldown. That's not the full kill. Now he comes out of the Death Realm into a slaughterhouse, who he tries to engage, but the damage cannot follow up. Hambach will get one. Darkwings with a big shutdown, but DSG, they took down the Nexus turrets. DSG, they didn't need those 3 out of 5 members. They just needed this one shot. They'll win their first series of LCS.
It only takes them one series to get on the board here in 2026. Smiles all around.